Welcome back to the channel. So in today's tutorial, we're going to be learning how to make a bubu dress with a zip in front. So this is actually very free girl because it's for a breastfeeding mother and she wants to have easy access. So that's why there's a zip in front. So stay tuned and let's get right into the video. Thank you. So guys, I'm going to be making use of this Kampala fabric. Then I'll be using my curve. This is scissors, the then don't forget to get a chalk. So now this is all we're going to be needing for this actually then our sewing machine. So I'll just go ahead now to open up the material so that we can start cutting. I actually think this material is beautiful, like the color is really nice. So now I'm already gone ahead to open my material. So what I did is I went ahead to fold it into two like this. If you know how they fold Kampala, you know that this is how it comes. So I folded into two like this. Then I'm just going to go ahead now to measure the full length. I'm going to be adding extra 2 inch to the length. So thereafter I'll go ahead to locate my bust. So for this I'm going to be locating my bust on 11 because the person is a bit busty. So I'm locating the bust on 11. Now after I'm done with that, I'm going to be taking the shoulder measurement. So the shoulder measurement I'm working with here is about 16 inch. So I'm marking it there. Now after taking my shoulder measurement, I'm going to be cutting this together with the sleeve. So I'm going to mark the length of the sleeve I want to work with. So this is actually optional. The length of your sleeve actually depends. So after you are done marking the length of your sleeve, remember to have 2 inch allowance or 3 so that you can go ahead to use it to fold this up. Now the bigger you fold it, the better it looks. Now for the neck, I'm just going to be doing a basic round neck which is 3 by 3. Then once I'm done with that, I'm just going to use my curve now to blend it in. You can go ahead and use your hand to sketch this out as well. So guys, once I'm done, this is what I had. Now for this part now, I'll be sloping my shoulder. So on the part I have the sleeve hem, I'm going to be sloping the shoulder by 1.5 inch. So from the shoulder there, I'm going to go ahead to slope my shoulder to the 1.5 inch I have on the hem of the gown. So this is so that it have a better fit since I'm not going to be joining the shoulder and then the sleeve is attached. So now I already located my bust on 11 as you can see. So I just want to go ahead now and mark that 11 on this part, which is the on the hem part of the sleeve, so that I have a line on that part instead of drawing a straight line across. Now after that, I'm going to go ahead also to measure how wide I want the armhole to be. So I actually want the armhole to be as wide as possible. I want this to be as free as possible as well. So what I'm going to do is I'll just be coming down by 12 inch, that is for the arm opening and then the sleeve opening, because actually the round sleeve measurement for that part is about 10 inch. So I'll be marking 12 inch on that part for the wideness of my sleeve. Then I'll go ahead and take the bust measurements on this part. So now you can see that I've actually neglected the bust point. Now I'm using that armhole part now to mark my bust point measurement. So after marking my bust point measurement, I added 6 inch allowance for this to be as free as possible. Like I said, it's going to be very free. So I just want to go ahead and blend a nice curve so that it is not too sharp while I'm sewing. So this is what I came up with. So I just made a curve from my sleeve opening, which is about 12 inch, down to where I have my bust measurement plus 6 inch allowance. I hope that is clear guys. So for this, I'm not going to be taking my waist measurement because I want it to be free like I've been saying. Alright, so I'll just go ahead and show us what the waist is there. So for the waist, you can just, if you are going to be working on little fabric, you can go ahead to confirm your waist measurement. If it's still fitting, you know the body actually differs, then add as much allowance as you want as well. So there is me confirming my waist measurement and then the 6 inch allowance. So it's actually blends with what I'm working with, so it is actually fine. That's why you can see that I connected the straight line. So for the hip as well, I'm going to locate the hip right there on 24. So I'm going to go ahead to confirm if the hip measurement still fits into what I've been working with so far. So there is the hip measurement, and then I'll see if the allowance I have is still as free as possible. So I have 4 after I'm taking the hip measurement, which I think is still actually fine. So I don't want this to be too shapy, and I don't want it to be too free on the hip part, so that at least it's not as big as it is on the bust part. So I'll just connect it like that. So it is necessary to confirm this, because at the end of the day, if you don't, you can find out that your client's hip is actually wide, and then you don't have any allowance on the hip part. So this is why it is necessary to confirm. So once we are done confirming the hip measurement, what is left is just to connect this straight down to the hem of this gown. So that will just be all. So connect this straight down to the hem of the gown. Now one thing I want us to take note of is that I'm actually drafting the back pattern first, or the back piece first. So the front is going to have a zipper, because the client I'm making for is actually breastfeeding at the moment. So I'm going to be putting a zipper at the front. So this piece now will serve as the back piece. So here is me just confirming all measurements. So go ahead and do the same thing for yours. Confirm all measurements, and once all measurements has been confirmed and it's accurate, you can go ahead and trace out on the chalk lines. So we'll be starting with the neck. Now just carefully cut out the neck piece like this, then go ahead and slope your shoulder, just like you can see the chalk indicating. So the front neckline and the back neckline is actually going to be the same. I don't want the neckline to be too deep, so I'm going to make it just a normal round neck. Now go ahead and cut this carefully. So just follow the same way you can see me tracing that. Then go ahead and trace it out on your pattern or on your fabric as well. So love is, once we are done cutting this now, like I said earlier, this is the back piece. So we'll go ahead now and use this back piece to cut on our front piece. So lovelies, this is what I had after I was done cutting. This is the hem, and then this is the full length. So make sure you take note of those things when you're taking your client's measurement. So now I already placed the back on the front. So the only difference between the back and the front is that there's a 2-inch zipper allowance. Like I said, there's going to be a zip in the front because she's a breastfeeding mother. So I'm going to be adding a zipper for her at the front. So just go ahead and leave your 2-inch, just like you're cutting your normal gown. Just leave 2-inch on that part, as you can see. So you can see that I just traced out what I have on the back. For the front, the only difference is the 2-inch I had on the side, which is actually visible on that part. So I kind of make the front neckline a bit lower than the back. So now I'm going to go ahead to open up the front, so I have it in 2 pieces for my zipper to be able to enter. Although there's another way you can actually fix this, but for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to be opening it up so that it is easier for us to understand. So go ahead and cut this down to the hem, just as you can see me doing, so that it will be easier for us to fix our zip. Although we are still going to be stitching this back. So guys, this is what I had when I was done with it. So I already opened that up. So as you can see, I used a pin to hold this down so that it doesn't move. That is why I can easily work with it and maneuver it. So now after I'm done with this, what I'm just going to be doing is I'm going to go ahead to cut an interface for the neckline. So I will not be cutting the interface together. I'll go ahead to separate the interface so that it is easier for me to turn the neckline. I will not be using the bias for this neckline. So this is the material I'm going to be using for the interface as well. But this is what the back piece looks like. So I just went ahead to open it up for us to see, and then I'll be arranging the front piece on it. So I have 2 pieces for the front piece and I have just one for the back piece. So the reason why I have 2 pieces for the front is just because of the zip I'm going to be adding. So this is what the front looks like, and this is how the neckline looks like when it is going to be joined together. So the first thing is I'll go ahead to join the shoulder, but before joining the shoulder, I'll go ahead and cut an interface. So here is how to cut an interface for the neckline. So I think this is actually neater because you will actually not see the hem on it. So just place a fabric on fold like this on the neck and then cut it out like this. So just trace out the neck measurements. So once this is done, go ahead and slope the shoulder as well. Remember that the shoulder has been sloped while we were drafting the first one. So that once you are done cutting now, you can go ahead and remove this piece and then go ahead and make this as long or as short as you want. This actually depends on you, but I would advise that it is at least 3 inch long. Then you can give it a curve. So this is how mine looks like. So what I'm going to be doing is I'll just go ahead to measure about 3 inch randomly or 4 inch randomly. So the same measurement I have there is what I'll be taking round so that it can give me a round shape or a circle shape once I'm done cutting this. So just take note of how I'll be measuring that measurement round. So for this I'm going to be using 4 inch randomly because I'll still be folding this as well. So guys, this is what I had. Now just give this a nice curve like this. So it is actually going to sit properly on the neckline in this shape, and it is easier for you to iron. So this is actually for the front piece. Like I said, it's going to be in two, so I went ahead to open it up. So this is how one will be sitting like this, and then the other will be sitting in the opposite direction like this as well. Now I'll set this aside, which is the front. Now go ahead to cut another interface for the back. So this is how I'll be cutting the interface for the back. Just go ahead and repeat the same process you did while you were cutting that of the front to make sure the material is sitting properly, just as it is like this. Then once it is lined properly, just go ahead and trace out the neckline, and then remember to slant your shoulder as well. So once you're done with this, now the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead to turn the neckline with the interface. So before I turn the neck with the interface, I'll go ahead and stitch down round this interface so that it is looking neat. You can go ahead and weave it as well if you have a weaving machine, but if you don't, go ahead and stitch this down. So here I'll just basically repeat that same process I did for the front, measure my 4 inch round. So this actually depends on you. Can use 3 inch, but I think the lowest you should use is 3 inch so that it's not really small, so and then you can see it sitting properly. So guys, once I'm done with this, I'll give this a curve again, just like I did for the front. Then go ahead and trace this out. If you find this video helpful, please like and subscribe to the channel for more updates and tutorials. So this channel will give beginner friendly tutorials. Now I'll be placing this on the front. Now remember that when you are sewing this, it is going to be placed on the front. So this is what the front piece looks like, and this is the neckline. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be using this stone zip for the front zip. Like I said, it's going to have a zip in the front, so I'll be using this stone zip. So what I did is I already went ahead to stitch down how long I want my zip to be. So from that part you can see that after marking how long I want my zip to be, I just went ahead to stitch the remaining parts with the same 2 inch downwards. So this is the 2 inch that I stitched with. So now I have room for me to actually fix in my zipper. So what I'm going to do now is I'll go ahead, I'll take this to my sewing machine and fix my zipper. So if you're using a stone zipper, so please be careful while you're fixing so that you don't ruin the teeth. So what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to be leaving half inch on the top so that this half inch will be folded into my neckline since I'm fixing the zipper first. I hope that is clear, guys. Then for the neck, I already went ahead to fold it down like I said, and I also went ahead to join both the front neck piece and the back neck piece together. So this is actually how it looks like. So doing this now, I'm just going to go ahead to join my shoulder and then use this to turn the neck together. I hope that is clear. So this is how my zip looks like after I was done with it. So as you can see, it is actually laying as flat as possible and it looks so good. So what I'm going to be doing now is I will just go ahead to place the back piece on this now. Now the front piece is already a piece, like it's already joined together to become one. Now I'll be placing it on the back piece like this. Then I'll go ahead to stitch down my shoulder with 1 inch. So stitch down both shoulders with 1 inch. Now I'll take this to my sewing machine and I'll be back to show us what it looks like. So guys, this is what it looks like after I was done. So now I already turned this part. Now I'm just going to go ahead to iron it flat and then I'll be using my hemming gum to hold this in place. So I actually don't want the sewing to show on the other side, so I'll be using my hemming gum. Then I'll just place my hemming gum and go ahead and use my iron to press this down so that it sticks to the main fabric. But before you do that, make sure you iron it and it is as flat as possible so that you don't have any wrinkle on the other part. Now this is me using my hemming gum. Now just be placing the hemming gum like this. So just as you can see me doing, I'll be placing it like this randomly. So once I place it on that part, I'll place my iron on it and then go ahead and use it to press it so that the gum can actually work on this part that I have placed it on. So use my iron now to press it down for it to stick together. So here you need your iron to be actually hot so that it can be faster and easier, but be careful not to make it too hot so that you don't burn your fabric. So you can see that it has already stick together. So now for other part as well, we'll go ahead and repeat the same process just like I did for that other side. So here I'll be stopping on this zipper part right here. Just insert my the hair gum rather on this part, hemming gum on this part, cut it on that part because I already stick down the other side, then use my iron to press it down as well. So just basically repeat this same process for the other side as well so that it sticks down. Now here is me folding in the zipper allowance I added for the neck. So here it is. So I'm going to be using the gum as well to hold it down. You can see how this is laying as flat as possible now. So you want to go ahead and take your time to do this so that it doesn't open up after it has been washed. So if it is well ironed, it will actually stick like that for a long time. So I'm just going to go ahead to repeat that same process for this part that you can see me working on as well. So take your time to do this. Place your gum, go ahead and put your iron on it for it to melt together. So I'm actually checking for wrinkles. I want to make sure that the front or the main piece is not wrinkled while I'm trying to arrange the other neck part. So make sure you take enough time as possible for you to achieve the best results. Now for the other 2-inch allowance I have here, I'm going to go ahead to weave it. If you don't have a weaving machine, you can go ahead and use your hemming gum as well to hold it in place so that it doesn't keep standing the way it is standing right now. So you can also go ahead to use your hemming gum. I think in this video I actually used a hemming gum so that it is easier for us to get in case we don't have a weaving machine. So this is actually what the neck looks like when I was done. So you can see it actually came out nice. So you can see I have some part that have been squeezed, so I'm just going to use my iron now to try to separate it so that I don't have any wrinkle parts showing on the neckline after I'm done with it. So I'm just using my iron now to press all parts that I feel are wrinkled. Then this also helped the hemming gum to melt more on the fabric on the front part. So lovely, this is what the neckline looks like now, as you can see. So after joining the shoulder and other part, that is what it looks like. Now I went ahead to use about 2-inch or 3-inch to fold that part, depending on what you added while taking your measurement or while cutting. So for this I added 3-inch. I already used that 3-inch to fold my sleeve. Now what I'm going to do next is just to go ahead to stitch down the sides. So just turn this to the wrong side now and go ahead to stitch the side. So here you can see the zip allowance that actually went downwards like that. So before I do that, this is also going to have a side slit, just a very short side slit, about 6-inch, so that it is easy for the person to move around. So for this part now, I'm going to be working on the slit. So actually I said the length of the slit is actually not that long. So here is me actually working on the slit. So the length of the slit is about 8-inch. Now after marking the 2-inch for folding this, I'm going to be marking about 8-inch altogether, which will give me 10. So I think I actually increased this to about 11 because I don't want the slit to be too small. Now I'm going to be using that 3-inch now to shape it. So out of the 3-inch allowance I added, 6-inch allowance I added, I'm going to be shaping this with 3-inch. Now this is how wide the slits will be. So now I'm just going to go ahead to fold the side slits for both sides. So lovely, I would like to show us what the size looks like. So I stitch this down the two sides with an allowance. Then this is what the two sides for the slits looks like. So I've actually not worked on the slits yet. Now what I'm going to be doing is I'll be showing us how I'm going to be folding my slit now. So I'll take note of what I have on that part, exactly what I have on that part now. Fold it over like this. Go ahead and open it up like this so that it is showing, then we fold it over like this. So this is what it's going to actually look like when I stitch it down. Then before I do that, I'll go ahead and fold the hem so that it can be folded over like this. So I'll first go ahead to hem it before I work on my sleeve. So guys, the clothes was delivered on time, so I couldn't show you guys the result. Enjoy your day, guys.